Buenos días. Buenos días. Hi, Peter.
Hi, how are you?
Hola,
Fine,
Víctor.
thank you. Hola,
Hola, buenos
Víctor.
días. Hello, Peter.
Hola.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Peter, how are you?
Thank you.
Víctor, ¿qué tal?
Hola, Ricardo.
¿Qué tal? How are you? We just got our COVID-19 test done. We have the
Llegó ya.
results on-
Ya.
Sí, ya. ¿Qué tal, Luis? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Ya nos hicimos las pruebas.
Ya, qué bien.
Ok. Lograron adelantarla.
Sí, no, pues, o sea, venimos más temprano. We came earlier. Okay, y cómo se llama and we got right in, which
Good.
to do, which is what. Okay,
estás en el
so
carro.
we're ready. I'm sorry. Sí, estoy en el carro. But technology, you know, is so fantastic.
Bueno, justo le había dicho a Rafael que había tenido del tema de tu padre, ¿no? De tu suegro. Perdón.
Sí, claro. Sí. Pero bueno, aquí estoy. I'm here, Peter.
Hi.
Ya.
Great.
¿Estás andando o estás en tu carro sentado?
No. Carla, my wife, is driving, so I asked her to please drive so I can talk and be with the meeting.
Good.
Ya. ¿Quieres que Luis Enrique participe, te apoye o?
No, sería muy bueno, por favor, para traducción. Si por si ellos necesitan. Celia, buenos días.
Okay.
Sí, aquí estoy en stand-by. Salud.
Ok, buenos días. Ya se encuentra Cecilia Ceballos con nosotros. Cecilia Ceballos es nuestra gerente en el área de educación, que ve todo el tema educativo con los colegios, está a cargo de todos los colegios. Hola, Ceci.
Buenos días, ¿qué tal?
Buenos días.
Hola, Cecilia. Mucho
días,
gusto,
Cecilia.
Peter. With us is Rafael, who is the head of IT, and Cecilia Ceballos, who is the head of education of Inova School. Okay, les quiero presentar al señor Peter Torok, quien es el COO de Mosaic, y quien va a hacer la presentación hoy de acuerdo a la lista que ustedes tienen, pero también integrando la parte educativa porque sabemos que Cecilia no ha visto esa parte, con el objeto de que puedan ver ustedes la plataforma integrada. Peter, I just told her that we have the list of what they are looking for, that you're going to try to go over all the items that they need, and that but you're going to also show Cecilia the importance of the integration of the whole platform. ¿Ustedes necesitan traducción al inglés o quieren que vayamos solo en inglés? Rafael y Cecilia.
¿Qué es lo que
Si
más
lo
tarda?
hablan como lento,
¿Sí?
podríamos entenderlo, pero ya para hacer las preguntas de repente las hacemos en español y ya tú las traduces.
Fantástico, no hay problema. Peter, well, let's go with the presentation in English, and with the questions, they will do it in Spanish and we'll translate into English.
Yeah, but Peter, please talk slow, okay? Cecilia request that you need to talk slow.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for your time today. Yes, I have received from Ricardo the list which you are mainly interested in. But in the beginning, I want to enlighten from a bit different shape. As many people have to make education in distance due to coronavirus, and it's making different application and content sources more important. One of our huge strengths is the content. So we're not simply offering learning management system and a platform to compose your lessons, but we also offering a very extensive list of content which is available in Spanish. So even if we are a Hungarian company, our platform is developed in 32 languages, and Spanish is one of the major languages. In our system, we distinguish between teacher and students. Teacher can also reach the library, but they also can create their own content, while students are more for consuming the content. One of the challenges in the beginning of introducing a digital platform, how we can make the users understand the benefits and how they can navigate. Because most of the participants in education are already used to textbooks because they're following a textbook, they're following a curriculum. We developed our technology around the textbook. So you can import your existing textbooks in a PDF format, and all digital content can be mapped directly to pages, which can shorten the time needed for the training for the participants to navigate in the digital library. So if I open up a book like this, I'm just using this as an example. The books are not coming from us. The books are always some local content. This book, which I use as an example, is from one of our Spanish partner publisher who working in Spain. So whenever the teacher is on a page, and if there is a relevant 3D, they can simply click and play the 3D directly inside the framework, which means also the students can have the same experience on the web portal. So at the beginning, it's either can seem strange why we are aligning all this content next to the textbook. But in the end, when we have to make thousands of users understand, it shows that this comes much more natural because they're already familiar with the concept, how they go through on a textbook. So when a 3D opens, and that's one of our big advantage, that we have a lot of three-dimensional visualizing materials. So if you are in a physical classroom, usually you use plastic molded models. If you see my camera picture, something like this. If I want to make you understand how the hearing works, I can use this plastic stuff if I have. Because you are a private school, I assume you have a quite good set of this plastic stuff. However, when you do distance education, it comes even a more challenge how you can show them. In our system, there is a lot of readily made 3Ds. So as a teacher, I just simply write on my screen hearing. And of course, I also could type. And then I just ask the software to show me content from the library which is relevant to hearing. And I just simply drag and drop this content into my presentation. So when the teacher are creating their own presentation, like in PowerPoint, they can do everything inside our application, which we call Mozabook. When the teacher composing the presentation, they can use both all the library content we have in our platform, or they can bring other sources from the internet. They can bring their own created content. And then when they show a 3D, they can show in a very similar environment that we use now, that using any kind of video conferencing application, sharing the screen and using the content to make the students understand and either transmitting their voice with the explanation. Some of the countries or some of our partner schools are using pre-recorded videos, which is also possible directly in Mozabook to record the screen and microphone. But going back to the content, because I really want to express that if you balance between the different required features, the content itself has a very high importance. Because even if you have a platform with a lot of communication features, if you are lacking of the quality content, it becomes education more hard. So in these 3Ds, the teacher can directly control the zoom, the viewing angle, and some of them also contains animations in which you also can go through on the process. So using these 3Ds, the way how the teacher could explain the content for the students are really much simplified, because teacher can concentrate on the pedagogical part, and all these relevant tools and sets are provided for them. We also could call Moza Book as a kind of PowerPoint, but it's designed for teachers, making teachers understand the benefits. There is a lot of features with drag and drop, so I even can grab out a 3D object out from the 3D simulation directly into my page, in which I also can use different annotation tools. The next step as education is not only about just telling and telling, we have to create exercises to measure up the knowledge of the students, which becomes much more important during these days when we have to do it in a distance. So creating exercises is also one of the primary capabilities of our platform. But creating exercises also can be quite time consuming. So whenever I have the content like this here, I click a single button and the application is able to generate an exercise out of this specific 3D image to asking for the labels. Or I can ask the application to asking for the different terms definitions. So with a single click, I can just generate exercises out of that specific part of the content which I'm viewing on the screen now. But of course, I also can go to modify these exercises. If any of the text is not exactly I like, I can simply change it. If I want, I also can add or remove different options. So I go to editing, I remove this, I add another one, put to the place, and then now I have my customized exercise. So basically, we are trying to make the content creation process as simple as possible for the average teachers as well. Teachers also can create their own exercises, choosing from the 13 types of exercises directly inside the platform. So creating a multiple choice questions, let's choose multiple choice. Then I have to select a template, whether I only need text, text with image, images as an options. If I select a template, I can start to put directly my input here. So let's choose an image and let's make a multiple choice question. And now I'm looking for an image from Lima on the web. So I directly can search Google and Bing inside the application. So instead of teaching the teachers that if you need an image, open up a browser, go to Google, search for the image, we are trying to integrate everything into the application, which helps them to find the correct content. So I just selected an image, and the question will be that where it is. And because it's a multiple choice question, I put Lima, Peru, South America, and let's say some bad answers as well. And these three will be the correct answers. I also can increase the number of possible answers. And I also can control how many randomized options should be shown. I mean, there is a lot of other features as well, but what I want to express that it's quite easy to create an exercise. So now, when the exercise is played, the options A, B, C, D is always randomized. The student can make their solution, they also can evaluate. Now, I have this exercise sheet containing 3 exercises, and this exercise sheet I can directly place into my document. Everything which we have in the platform can be placed directly into the presentations. In these presentations, or exercise book, how we call it, all input which were provided for the tool is directly saved. This content also can be placed directly to the exercise books. So now I just pinned the exercise sheet directly to the book. So if a user will open up this book, and they will see the icons on the page. This makes the navigation inside the digital content so natural that even teachers with higher age and lack of computer knowledge can understand and successfully use. The next type of content which we are really proud of are the tools. So they are not a fixed learning object, but different thematic applications for specific subjects, which can help the demonstration and presentation of the content. The most simple one, like this number line, which of course you also can simply draw it as a drawing. But number line as an application helps the teacher to showing different things on the number line. What does it mean? Adding numbers, subtracting numbers, or the basic operations with sets, like union and intersection. So basically, this tool is about to make a presentation. So if I have my presentation in the background, I can show the students different numbers, or I also can show different operations. And as I mentioned, all content is very easily drag and droppable inside. But as I mentioned earlier, exercises is very important. So the tool is able to generate exercises in those topics where it's able to work. So if I simply go to exercises, and let's choose one of the exercises. So now the tool generated an exercise for me. If I insert this tool directly to the book, then students who just preparing or practicing, they can open up the tool with a single click exactly in that state which the teacher configured, and they can start practicing. And the exercise is indefinitely generated new and new based on the requirements. So this can make much more easy to understand for the users, for the teacher and the student, how they can benefit from digitalization without becoming an IT expert. If I compare this solution to other solutions, when you have a dashboard, when you choose different listings of content, and you choose different filtering methods to find the relevant content. In this way, the content can be aligned with the curriculums through the textbook. Inside the books, inside the tools, there is some more complex ones, let's say some high school physics. When teachers teaching about optics, usually they use a physical laser-equipped optical kit. In this simulation, you can simply drag and drop a custom optical installation directly on your PC and show the students the different operation modes of the lenses. And again, if I save this content as an icon, it becomes an integral part of the book. And whenever I click on the icon, I get exactly the same out of the saved state. There is many other options. I don't want to go too deeply. This tool also has lights with diffraction to making the rainbow and so forth. But we're not only concentrating on sciences, but we're also covering history and social sciences as well, as our platform is targeting the full scope from grade 1 to 12, including all general subjects. One of my favorite tools is the tool called Time Machine. In this Time Machine, we have a set of historical people over the history. And then I can simply search. So it also can help in multidisciplinary education. Even if I'm teaching music, I also can teach history of musicians. So I just go to this place, let's choose Mozart, and I can visually search all other people who were composers, because I can search in the database visually. So I have more than 2,000 famous people in this app, and if I'm interested in the composers who was close to Mozart, then I can filter the composers. If I'm also interested the time, so composers who were living in the same time scale, then we can use this stuff. But again, it's not only about to get the content. However, it's a very easy way to search the content, to drag and drop his images, to put different other content out of these screens. But this knowledge which the tool has, I can use to generate exercises. So I can define the search or filtering options of these people, in which I can use the result set as the topic of my exercise. So with a single click, the application generates me an exercise in which I can start practicing. Or with different exercises, it's asked, who was William Herschel? And I have to choose the right answer. And if you see, even this content is available in Spanish. I also can directly solve here, but we also have an option to export the exercise. So with a single click, I just exporting this exercise, which is generated on the fly, into the other app, in which other app I can ask for modification, and I can change the text to fit exactly my requirements. So after saving, I have my own exercise in which I can save into my presentation alongside with the tool itself. So I can collect any kind of digital content in the form of small icons into my presentation. But this presentation, it also can be shared with my students. So everything which the teacher created and saved, they can share through the cloud. So I just saving and uploading to the cloud will make this content available for all the students in my school. As general sharing options is private, institutional, or public. In institutional sharing, the content will be available automatically for all the users inside the same school. We also have finer grade sharing options to sharing a content element or grouping the content elements into folders on MozaWeb and sharing with specific groups inside. As another function is homeworking. Homeworking is highly related to group management. So each user should have their own registration in the platform, and those users can be organized into groups. These groups can contain students, and those students can be used either for sharing the content, either as a recipient of homework. So when the student comes and wants to see this content, the student can use the web portal, which is called MozaWeb. In MozaWeb, the student can go to their dashboard, and they can see their books, or they can see the overview of their available content. Recently opened books, pending homeworks, different content which is selected for the week, exercise books which are shared with me. If I go to exercise books, this is how we call the presentations, then I can simply go and open up the presentation inside the browser. So the presentation which I was created as a teacher in the desktop application is available for the students in the browser. If there is an exercise, they can just click on it, and they can start solving, either for practicing. There is another option for homeworking when the students cannot check the answers, but they have to send the exercises back on time. If a student wants to check a 3D, they can directly click on the image and the 3D is loaded directly on their computer, which 3D also works on both Linux, Mac, iOS, and Android as well. Of course, next to Windows. Then here is the different pages which we just chosen and so forth. Homeworks is another option when I can use the created exercise sheets as a designated exercise for my students. So inside the teacher application, I go to assigning a homework, which is consisting of 3 steps. First, I have to select what I want to send as a homework, who, and when. The homeworking feature is cloud-based, as I haven't yet mentioned, but the desktop application for the teacher is also able to run offline. So when we speaking about classroom teaching, physically in the classroom, the application is able to serve those needs when the teacher cut off the internet. However, as homework is online feature, I can send exercises as a homework which is already in the cloud. Here it's listing my library, which I uploaded previously, or I can just simply drag and drop the exercise sheet into the cloud window. So now I just selected one exercise sheet consisting 3 exercises as a topic of my homework. So going next, in the second step, I have to choose who should receive the exercise. Either I can select from previously created groups, or I can add separate students. In the final step, I can give a title, a topic, and of course a deadline, which is basically the time until the students have to provide their answers. There is also a possibility for starting date, which makes me easier as I can prepare the homeworks in advance. So I can prepare a homework which will be sent automatically next Monday when we will reach that part of the content. After checking the summary, by clicking send, the students will receive the homeworks. They have different ways to solve the homework. Either they can go directly into the web browser in Mozilla Web and solving incomplete homework. In this list, they will see a list of homework which they have to solve, which they can start solving simply clicking on the name of the homework. They also can use our dedicated Android app, in which they also will see, if you see my camera, this is an Android app. It's a native Android app. This is the Android viewer of our solution. Here, I got a yellow notification that I have a new homework. If I click on the icon, I got a list of all my pending homeworks, those homeworks which I have to solve. If I click on one of the homework, it loads directly into the app, and then I can start solving directly on my Android phone. The same thing can also happen in the browser, and also if students having a Windows computer and having the dedicated app, they also can solve the exercises there. And when the exercise is solved in the web, teachers can go to evaluate in the evaluation panel, in which I can either see the results of my students, which I can see in 2 dimensions, the results per student or the results per exercise. The second dimension, when I'm checking a specific exercise along the different students, makes me a better impression if one specific subtopic was not taught properly, because it's a big difference whether the specific student has problem with the exercise or the whole group having a problem with a specific type of exercise. After checking this evaluation, we also can provide a comment and then we can send email notification for the students, even to those ones who not provided their answers. Going back to the teacher application, as I mentioned, textbooks is a very highly used as a navigation for the content, as both the teachers and the publisher of the book can add different icons to it, which then is synchronized alongside with the students. Adding content, it's quite easy. I just have to find the relevant content in the library, either using keyword search, either by using related items. So if I just want this content to be inserted in the book, I just drag and drop, and that will be there. Whenever I click on a content and it loads inside the window, the application will also offer me related content. So if I go to the chain icon, I can explore what other contents are related to this topic, and I can directly jump to those to view inside the same window. When exploring the content, there is also a possibility to go into the mesh of content. So the content is organized into a big graph. So if I just start from one of the points, let's say hearing, then I can see all the related content as different nodes of this graph. The content can be either a 3D, a pre-created digital lesson, which is also can be used by the users. These digital lessons are part of our library. They are going to some specific topics. In these lessons, they have some questions which they should describe and discuss during the lesson. And there is also integrated content like links to 3Ds or link to specific tools with specific states. It also can lead to videos, which also part of our library, and those videos also can be directly played. We also having 700 videos in our library, which is included with the licenses. We have 3 types of videos. We have complete videos with narration. We have clips with only text inside, so the teacher can use it as a material. And we also have informational videos, which can be inserted as a part of a bigger presentation. Of course, if you have questions during my speech, please feel free to stop me, and then we can go into more details. So the LMS part is, let me open another image in which I can more easily describe the structure of our application. So the platform is basically divided into 3 scenarios, 3 different areas of education. One of that is classroom education, when we have the teacher inside the classroom holding the lesson, taking into consideration the normal situation when schools are open. In this, Moza Book is the application for the teacher to hold and create the lesson. However, nowadays, during the school closures, Moza Book is the tool which is shared on the screen of the teacher in order to deliver the lesson. On the other side, which we call home learning, is a web portal, which we call Moza Web, is the door for the students to enter into this universe. So in Moza Web, the students can reach the content library, the digital books, and all the content which their teacher shared with them. The third part is Moza Log, which is an administration platform, runs in the browser, so it's cloud-based, and this is about administrative tasks, tracking of the progress of the education, both on the teachers, how many hours they worked, which lessons was taught, but also on the student side, who was missing, who was late, who was not present, administering grades, and so forth. And parents also have an access to Moza Log in which they can check all related information to their kids. Mozalog also includes a closed-circuit messaging system between teachers and parents. So one of our high strengths, which I think is quite unique, is a very versatile library of content. Like just from 3Ds, we have more than 1,200 3D animations, which are dedicated apps, not some pre-rendered videos, which both teachers and students can use to demonstrate and understand the content. And also these 3Ds are available in Spanish. They are organized into topics. If I go to a specific topic, I can browse this content either in a visual way. These are very well detailed 3Ds, helping the teachers in the explanation and helping the students in the understanding process. On MozaWeb, there is also API connection possibilities to enroll students in bulk. It's also possible on the profile page to assign my user to a TinCan API endpoint, which was also in the list of your questions. We also have a built-in group management, but the system tries to be flexible. If you want to interface with other solutions, it's subject to a discussion if we understand more. The application, both the teacher and student side, is able to bring existing content. So if you go, let's say images can be bring from internet. The search is Google and Bing, can be bring from our library, but it also can be bring just from the PC. So I can just browse my computer, find the content, and I can simply drag and drop. And now this image became part of this document. This is also true for videos, audio, but also PDF or HTML5 applets can be added, and they are becoming part of the document. We have also a dedicated application, as I previously shown, both for Android and iOS. This Android application is also capable of interactive classwork. So when the students physically in the school, they also can join from their own smartphones through the local area network to the teacher's computer and getting tasks just right on the phone, like exercises and quizzes. I think now we can hold a couple of minutes break to see whether you have questions or was any part which was interesting but was not clear in my explanation. So we also can ask for Luis to help with the translation if you want to hear also the answer in Spanish.
Hi, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I have a question. My name is Rafael. What kind of technical requirements need the computer from the teacher to prepare the content, please?
So this application, it's a Windows-based application. It's requiring Windows 7 or newer to be present on the teacher's computer. There is no high specs needed, but the recommended is at least a Core i3 CPU with 4 GB of RAM in order to have a more smooth and fluent working modes.
Rafael, yo te paso las especificaciones de las laptops y de las tablets, ¿te parece? Y de los teléfonos,
Okay.
y de los teléfonos inteligentes, porque una cosa importante es que esto los niños pueden manejarlo desde su teléfono inteligente también.
Okay, Ricardo. Gracias. Peter, I have another question, please. What kind of software need to download the teacher in their computer to prepare the content? Is by browser, or the teacher needs to download a
Teacher needs to download, yeah, the software called MozaBook. This is a Windows application for the teacher, and because it's running on the computer, the experience is much more fluent compared to browser-based solutions.
Okay, Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. So the reason why we have the desktop application, because we not only thinking about the current situation when distance learning is a must, but we developing this software for 12 years, and we have excellent solution for in-class teaching. So when a teacher using an interactive whiteboard, they're using the Mozabook application on a touch-sensitive thing. So we have multi-touch, we have handwriting recognition, we are able to work offline. So even in those schools where internet is come and goes, like in Iraq, they're using our presentation tool in a mixed environment.
Okay. Peter, please, another question. Is possible to, you show us, it's possible to prepare our own content in the platform. But we need to check what kind other tools has the LMS about to evaluation to the students. Okay, it's very important for us to check to measure the skills, to measure the evaluation of every course. What kind of tools the platform has to check if the students achieve the goals? Do you understand me, please?
Yes, so the main component of this scenario is the test tool, in which you can create various types of exercises. Namely, we have 13 different types, like single and multiple choice, but also more complex one like filling the gap or making things in order. Inside each exercise type, there is different layouts which the teacher can choose, and they can easily drag and drop the different images and objects. These exercise sheets then can be sent as a homework in which the student can solve these or answer these exercises at home. These exercises also can contain free text entry like an essay, which of course have to be evaluated by the teacher. And then students also can upload images and videos. So for example, one of the schools who using our platform during this times, they were asking their students to learn poems, and parents were recording with the phone and they were uploading the videos into the platform. So it's also based on the creativity of the teacher team. On technical side, the main thing is the exercise sheet which we're sending through the homework. But if you use any third-party things, which is web-based, you can directly integrate, because there is a built-in browser. If I go to any platform, let's say, I don't know whether you're using, there is a very good one called the FAT library from Colorado University. It's a free set of physical simulations. This is web-based and free of charge. If I go to the site and I choose any content, let's say some physics, I can directly link this content into Mozabook. So if I open up one of the simulations from the FAT library, I can go and insert this as an icon. And now I just inserted this as a hyperlink as part of my presentation. So whether my students or teachers open up this content, they get exactly what they saved. So if you have any third-party library to, let's say, do some specific type of exercise which you really like and we don't have, you also can use as a part of the solution, because we are trying to be flexible as well.
Excellent. Peter, in our model, the parent is the key of the process to check if the students are achieve the goals. What kind of option have the parents to check the advance of the students?
Well, in which sense? So basically, after the homework is solved and the teacher or the deadline is over, then answers can be checked. So if I have a homework which I solved and I finished the solving, so I cannot change on my answers, then I can check the answers. If you understand that. So if I go as a student on Moza Web and I go to my homeworks, here I can see a homework. Let's see a homework which is finished. Then those homework exercises can be checked by the parent. But the parent can see the answers, which was not good, which was good or bad. But for further explanation why it was good or bad, then they need the teacher's help.
In other words, the parents get mail, or they need to access to the platform?
They need to access to the platform.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Peter, just one thing. I think they're interested kind of in Moza Log as well. You know, all the tools that the teachers and the administration have to, you know, check the progress of the students.
Yeah. So Moza Log is both integrated but separate. So this is a separate app. It runs in the browser. It also can be tested online. So basically, I can log into the demo as a school director, in which I also can see the list of my classes and teachers. And then I can go to administer what was the topic of today, what we have learned, or I also can manage which of the students were not present in the library in the two-day session. Inside that, I also can administer different results like a mark book. So if I give grades to the students, I can mark it in this system. So basically, this system tries to replace those big handwritten books in which the school administration was happening before, to track all data which are created alongside with the students. And this system also provides a separate login for the parents to see all their kids. So if a parent has multiple kids in the school, they can use a single login to check all of them. And in this system, teachers also get email notification about different happenings. So if my kid gets a new mark, I get an email. Or if my students were not present in one of the lessons, I get a notification when the teacher administers the absence.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, in our country, do you have introduced this platform in what kind of the schools in our country, in Peru? Now, please.
We are working on it, but probably it's better if Ricardo answers in Spanish.
Okay.
Yes, Rafael, estamos trabajando con el Ministerio de Educación. Si tú ves aprendoencasa.pe, ahí estamos en toditas las plataformas. Ahorita que ellos han comprado 1.040.000 tablets, nuestras aplicaciones ya vienen integradas en las tablets, ¿verdad? Y vienen integradas para las tablets que van a estar online y las tablets que van a estar offline, ¿verdad? Porque una de las cosas es que esto puede trabajar online y offline, ¿verdad? También estamos trabajando con la Direct del Callao, ¿verdad? Y estamos trabajando con la Marina de Guerra del Perú.
Una pregunta, Ricardo, un poco para entendemos entonces que el Ministerio de Educación del Perú ha comprado las tres opciones, el Moza Book, Moza Web y Moza Log, para todos los estudiantes ¿de qué grados?
Ok. El Ministerio de Educación ahorita, con esto de la pandemia, está en una emergencia y ellos están testeando la plataforma para posteriormente poder adquirirla. ¿verdad? Pero cada vez nos están pidiendo más y más información porque han encontrado que nuestra plataforma es la más potente y completa del mercado.
Aún no han
¿verdad?
comprado, están evaluando actualmente. Okay.
Están evaluando actualmente, pero para que tú veas la seriedad, si tú entras a aprendoencasa.pe, para ellos podernos poner ahí, pasamos por una cantidad de filtros inmensos, ¿verdad? Y ¿cómo se llama? Y lo cual logramos, ¿verdad?
Rafael, Ricardo, ¿me puedo interrumpir un ratito? Perdón.
Sí, claro.
Rafael, sí, Luis Adriancén, fíjate, tú sabes cómo son los procedimientos en Perú y las restricciones que tienen la administración pública. Ellos empezaron a ver la plataforma, les interesaba, le habíamos dado un periodo de prueba de 3 meses, después nos decían, no, queremos más, y ya quedamos para que lo van a tener el segundo semestre, y van a empezar los GEC, son un grupo de colegios, que se les GEC, JS, Víctor, si me corrige, ¿qué cosa es exactamente?
Es jornada escolar completa.
Jornada escolar completa. Y es básicamente para lo de secundaria. Podemos entrar a primaria y a inicial, pero quieren enfocarnos en secundaria y vamos ya este viernes debemos estar ya teniendo todo listo para empezar a capacitar a los profesores. Ya nos dijeron cómo conseguir los libros, la currícula del Minedu. Oficialmente nos lo están dando en PDF en forma digital. También después de firmar ya tener todo listo, nos lo dan y nos vamos hasta diciembre.
Y aparte del Ministerio de Educación, ¿alguna red de colegios privada acá en Perú lo tiene o tan solo lo tiene ahorita en evaluación el Ministerio de Educación? ¿Algún colegio privado acá en Perú tiene esto?
Estamos con la Marina de Guerra, pues están entrando para...
Son 8.000 estudiantes.
8.000 estudiantes.
Okay. Si me permite, Rafael, un poco, Víctor Pomar, para complementar la respuesta a tu pregunta, adicionalmente a lo que te ha explicado Luis y Ricardo, nosotros le hemos entregado al Ministerio de Educación un link para que hagan la descarga, a pedido de ellos, por supuesto, para que hagan la descarga de la aplicación Mosaic y esa aplicación pueda venir precargada en las tablets que está comprando el ministerio, en todas las tablets, y que deben llegar a mediados de septiembre, según nos dijeron. O sea, eso es en adición a lo que te estaba explicando. Eso es completamente gratis, se lo hemos dado. Ellos lo han aceptado después de hacer la evaluación de la plataforma y eso va a permitir de que los alumnos puedan inclusive acceder a su tablet en forma offline y tener ahí algunos contenidos, no la plataforma full, pero algunos contenidos de Mosaic y algunos videos, como has visto tú ahora, ¿no? Entonces, eso es en adición a lo que estamos viendo para que el ministerio pueda, en su momento, tomar la decisión si adquiere o no ya la licencia full, ¿no?
Un comentario adicional sobre lo que justamente Víctor acaba de indicar. Y, digamos, tratando de anticiparnos, tal vez, Rafael, a dónde va tu pregunta, ¿no? Lo cierto es que recién nosotros, con la pandemia, hemos empezado los esfuerzos para introducir Mosabook aquí en Perú, ¿no? Mosabook y todas las demás plataformas del sistema Mosaic. ¿Ya? Eso, sin embargo, no significa que Mosabook no tenga experiencia relevante, digamos, en colegios importantes a nivel mundial. Mosabook tiene mucha acogida en Europa, en otros países latinoamericanos, en Asia. Como ves, el tema del idioma se ha superado muy bien en todos los ámbitos porque, digamos, es multilingüal la plataforma y tal vez Ricardo nos puede comentar un poquito más sobre eso, pero definitivamente los sistemas de educación tan exigentes como, por ejemplo, Chile, por ejemplo, tiene varios colegios utilizando el ecosistema Mosaic, ¿no? Entonces, consideramos que introducirlo a Perú no significaría que recién con algún colegio acá se va como que a probar la plataforma. Al contrario, es una plataforma que ya viene,
Muy
digamos,
probada.
siendo probada en distintas partes del mundo y con mucho éxito también, ¿no? Por eso es que nosotros nos sentimos cómodos de ofrecérselo no solamente a ustedes, sino también al sector público. Justamente, nosotros empezamos el contacto con el sector público, que recién hemos pasado después a buscar o acercarnos a colegios privados para ofrecer la solución. No, solamente quería hacer ese comentario.
Gracias.
Y una cosa importante, Rafael, esta plataforma permite que tú puedas tenerla bilingüe. Si ustedes tienen colegios que ustedes enseñan inglés y español, ¿verdad? Pues que no sé si ustedes lo hacen, pero la plataforma puede estar en inglés y español con el objeto de que los niños vayan aprendiendo todo en las dos lenguas, ¿verdad? Ahora expandiendo un poco lo que decían Luis Enrique, Luis y Víctor, también quiero decirte, por ejemplo, cuando Irak cambió de gobierno y el gobierno americano cambió de sistema de educación, la plataforma Mosaic es la base de toda esta transformación, ¿verdad? En Europa es una plataforma muy utilizada, ¿verdad? Y los más de 30 años de experiencia que tiene Mosaic, primero como editores de libros y después pues decidieron hacer esta plataforma, ¿verdad? Pero pensando desde el profesor, porque uno de los grandes problemas, y tú lo sabes y también Cecilia lo sabe, el mayor obstáculo porque todito esto no está implementado hoy en día es porque había una gran resistencia de parte de los docentes, ¿verdad? De manera que esto nos ha agarrado de sorpresa, pero pues nuestra plataforma es la más fuerte y potente del mercado y está totalmente integrada, como has podido ver. Sí.
Ricardo, antes que se nos acabe el tiempo, que nos queda un par de minutos, una pregunta, ¿sí? Si me ayudas con la siguiente pregunta. Ajá. Que tenemos de Cecilia y también yo también tengo la duda.
Sí.
Tenemos la posibilidad de ver un reporte modelo de avance académico de un estudiante al término de un periodo escolar. O sea, esa es una pregunta, no sé si me ayudas
perfecto.
Con Peter.
Peter, can you show him a model of a report, a grade book, okay, of a student, so they can see what it looks like and where he gets the information?
Yes, give me a second.
Mientras busca Peter, una de las cosas importantes es que todito lo que él enseñó es de donde parte la información que cae en el libro de notas, ¿verdad? Y ustedes deciden qué peso se le da a cada una de las partes de lo que están haciendo para ver cómo impacta en el libro de notas. Y esto es una cosa muy importante, ¿verdad? Otra cosa, dependiendo la manera que ustedes hacen sus notas, la plataforma se adapta, si es en letras, si es en números. Simplemente ustedes no tienen que decir cómo es que ustedes hacen sus notas para montarla en la plataforma y que sea de acuerdo a la manera que ustedes la hacen.
Okay, so if I go to class registers, here I can see the different classes. Now I'm accessing as a head teacher. If I go one of the class, let's say the grade book, I can see the members of the class, what kind of results they have per lesson or per subject. Then I also can go to the view of the student itself to see in a different direction when I can see the progress of the specific student. This year is already closed, so I cannot add new marks, but usually I can add here. Many of these views are possible to export as a PDF document, as a mark book.
Peter, can you show for just one single student, let's say the report the school would send the parents, for example?
Yes, yes, I'm searching. You know, I'm not the person who usually demonstrate the software. I have a dedicated one. I'm usually demonstrate the content. And this software is only available I mean, not only in English, but it's not available in Spanish at this moment. So if I go...
Pero va a estar.
So inside the statistics module, I can get statistics about the different courses we have inside the system. And in academic reports, we can have an overview of the data generated by the student, about the student. And this can also goes on different levels, but let me check the data of the students. This is the praises. Okay, so this is a specific student, his school diary. And here I can see the subjects which this student is studying. Because the school year already closed, they have the final mark. But and here is the final marks, and here is the marks during the year. If I put my mouse on it, I also can see the commentary, as there is different types of marks. They are a weighted system. So a small exercise or a small exam has a less value than one of the chapter exams. Here I can see the numerical average of these marks, both the yearly or the second term average. Here I can see the different list of praises and warnings, but these students doesn't have. And here we can see how the average of the student was moving. So the students got the marks. Let's say today you get a mark 3, tomorrow mark 5. And this average of the marks is calculated for each day. So the teacher or the parent can have a graphical impression by the date how the average progress of their students was moving. And we also can download this page as a PDF. So this can be considered one of the exports. These are the numerical results of the grades of the students, of this specific student.
Can you go back, please, to the report so they can see it? The one that you just showed, the PDF?
This is exactly the same which I showed on the previous page, but as a PDF.
Excelente, Ricardo.
Eso es lo que quería ver, Rafael.
Sí, está excelente. Esta era la pregunta. Bueno,
Muchas gracias, de verdad, bastante claro. Creo que todo lo que permite mostrar con todo el contenido que ustedes ya tienen elaborado, hace bien atractiva la experiencia de aprendizaje. Y bueno, estos reportes que han mostrado también son de mucha utilidad para lo que nosotros queremos ver. Si nos pasan luego la grabación de la sesión para compañeros que no pudieron unirse, también la puedan ver, que son parte de quienes tienen que conocer las plataformas que estamos explorando para ir tomando las decisiones, te lo agradeceríamos mucho, Ricardo. Y por mi parte, bastante agradecido por el tiempo que nos han dado. Peter, muchísimas gracias, además, porque ha hablado tan claramente y tan lentamente que he entendido todo. Muchas gracias, de verdad.
She's thanking you, Peter, because you have talked very slow and she has understood everything that you have said. Okay, y cualquier cosa, Rafael y Cecilia, que, o sea, tratamos de ir de la lista que ustedes nos dieron de cubrir toditos los temas, de verdad, si alguno, o sea, yo estuve chequeando y creo que los hemos cubierto todos, es verdad, si hay alguna cosa adicional, ustedes pueden llamarnos. Una cosa importante es que esta plataforma se puede integrar muy sencillamente a otras plataformas que ustedes tal vez ya tengan, ¿verdad? Con la información, pero lo más importante es la cantidad de información que no solo sirve para el estudiante, Cecilia, también sirve para supervisar al profesor, que tal vez no sé si tú lo has visto desde ese punto de vista, ¿verdad? Pero permite medir la calidad del profesor de acuerdo a los resultados que está teniendo el estudiante, los estudiantes que él maneja.
Ricardo, ¿me pasas por favor las características y las especificaciones técnicas del alumno, de la máquina del alumno, del laptop de alumno y profesor, por favor?
Te las paso en cuanto terminemos, con todo gusto.
Listo.
Okay.
Yo los tengo que dejar porque tengo otra conferencia ahorita. Yo les agradezco mucho su tiempo, como también lo dice Cecilia. Gracias a Peter, gracias a cada uno de ustedes y estamos en contacto con cualquier otra consulta que tengamos.
Sí, si quieres una licencia de acceso también se te puede pasar.
Perfecto.
Okay.
Gracias gracias Luis, Víctor, gracias Ricardo y estamos en contacto. Muy amables. Gracias,
Muchas
Peter.
Gracias.
Bye.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Bye.
Gracias, Cecilia. Bye.
Gracias, bye. Hasta luego.
Gracias a todos, chao, chao.